Andrews students marched to protest police brutality.
How one group of students plan to spread cheer during the Christmas break.
An interview with the North American Division's communication director.
Plus, this week in Andrews history.
And an update on the Cardinals basketball team.
And also, what you want for Christmas.
AU News starts right now.
This is AU News.
Welcome to AU News. I'm Emmanuel, Leonard.
And I'm Lucero, Castellanos. AU News is a production of the Intro to News Production and News Editing classes in the Department of Communications.
More than 200 people showed up for a peaceful protest march from campus to the Barron Springs, Orinoco Township Police Department. Here's Gadiel Martinez with more on what prompted this march.
Andrews University students organized and marched in Barron Springs last Saturday to bring awareness to police brutality.
The first goal of the march is to raise awareness within the Barron Springs community that the minority students of Andrews University does have concerns about police protection in light of the recent events that we're seeing in the media.
It received support from Chaplain Michael Polite, as well as faculty and staff who came out to support the students.
Recognize that it's listening that actually allows you to hear the voices of the oppressed.
Graduate student Jamel Daniels, one of the leaders of the march, was encouraged by the turnout.
People decide that they're willing to give their life's energy in support of something, even if that means that you could be putting yourself in harm's way. You understand what it means to sacrifice.
Janelle Monroe, Jordan Price, and Keshler Orcel participated in the march.
I wasn't there when Martin Luther King was marching, but I have the opportunity to do something like what he did. You know, I wanted to tell my children I was part of something.
Because we did it on campus as a student-led thing, it made me realize that students here really do care and really are passionate about what's going on. We can do a lot more than just talk and just, reflect on what's happened. We can actually go out and do something about it.
A lot of the times the things that we do hear about race are negative things, but I think this really influenced me to see that there can be a way for us to positively talk about race and to bring awareness to it.
The march helped them see that injustice everywhere is something they have to be aware of in their community.
I think it's really important that the students are aware because they're going to automatically be stereotyped. They might not be able to relate or understand it, but people are struggling. It's more of a educational experience, and it better helps us to understand one another.
This is Gadiel Celaya Martinez for AU News.
As the holiday break gets underway, Fonda Mwangi tells us about some students who have decided to spend their break spreading Christmas cheer overseas.
This Friday, 22 students will be taking off on the annual Honduras mission trip. Joseph Gugi, this year's student director, reveals what the mission trip entails.
A lot of time really ministering to them, and it's really more like a day camp, like a summer camp. They have different, you can call them class rotations. We have a Bible class, a music class, things that the kids are ready to be involved in, but they're also very religious.
Glenn Russell, one of the trip's coordinators, has been going to Honduras for the past 14 years.
I've been involved in a long-term partnership, Pioneer Memorial Church and Andrews University and Reach International, which is a NGO for humanitarian work in more than 23 countries around the world. We did 14 years of going to Romania. Then we switched over and have been going to Honduras since the year 2000.
For the first time, nursing students, a total of 9, will work in a local clinic.
They will be working in the local hospital and clinic. So each day they'll go in and do that. And then some of them each day, it'll be a rotating cycle, some of them each day will stay at the camp and do some health education things for the kids that come to camp.
For trip co-director Eliana Iller, these short-term missions are satisfying in many ways, and especially this one.
They're lasting connections. They don't forget your name, they don't forget, and it's like that connection is like you never left. Your friends, you know, you get to see how they're doing and see what's changed and how they've grown.
In the spirit of holiday giving, the realization that it is better to give than to receive has been shown in a new light.
We get far more than we give.
We're going there to minister and also be heavily ministered to.
This is Fonda Mwangi reporting for AU News.
We have with us in our studio this week a special guest, Dan Weber. Mr. Weber is the Communication Director for the North American Division of our church. Mr. Weber, you're normally in Silver Springs, Maryland, working for the North American Division, and you've worked in a variety of fields for the church. Yep. What are some of the challenges you face today in your position as Communication Director?
I think one of the challenges that we face is that communication is changing so quickly. 5 years ago, who would have thought of using Facebook or Twitter or social media as a way of communicating the news? Typically, you would just put things out in a press release, or you would do a publication, or you would do a news broadcast. But now, news is so instantaneous. I'll give you an example. At our year-end meeting last month, held in Silver Spring, and we have our executive committee that meets once a year, and I had one of my people from my staff sit there, and her sole responsibility was to handle Twitter. And in one day, she did more than 200 tweets. She basically live tweeted what was happening from the floor. And we got so much response back, especially from young people in the church saying, wow, this is awesome. I kind of felt like I was in instant contact with my church and I knew what was happening there. And for that, it's a new day for the church. But it also means that we need to be responsive and we need to have a response to a situation very quickly.
So recently, Adventists were on the news for giving out over 1 million copies of The Great Controversy in San Francisco.
Yep.
As a communication specialist, do you believe that this method of evangelism is a good method, or what is your opinion on that?
Well, let me clarify a couple of things. It wasn't the Adventist Church that distributed the books. It was an organization called Remnant Publications, and they are considered a supporting or independent ministry of the church. So they did this on their own behalf. The church didn't ask them to send the books out. What they were trying to do was take part in what we called the Great Hope Project, where the church throughout the world distributed a recompiled version of the Great Controversy called the Great Hope. And it was written in a more modern language and shortened down, where it was 11 chapters instead of the 40-plus chapters the original version had. And the language was modern compared to the language from the 1880s. But the purpose of the project for the church wasn't to mass distribute it through mailings. It was through personal sharing, so that you would become friends with someone and then say to them, because of your friendship, here's this book I'd like to share with you. So that was the original intent. It wasn't to do mass mailings, because we feel that's a more effective way, is that personal evangelism one-to-one.
Recently, the North American Division President, Dan Jackson, put out a statement about the demonstrations that have been happening across the countries.
Sure.
From the deaths of Michael Brown and Eric Garner in New York. What are some ways Adventists can send out a message of love to those who feel like injustice has not been served?
I think the main thing as a church is that we need to be responsive to the needs of our communities. And right now, the communities all across North America are hurting. And it's hurt that crosses racial boundaries, it crosses generational boundaries. A lot of people are upset because they feel like that some unfair things have happened. And as a church, what we don't want to do is we don't want to take sides in the issue, but we want to be there for people that are hurting, and we want to say to them, we embrace you for who you are, we understand that you're upset, and we're hoping that a dialogue throughout our society, throughout North America, can take place where we don't have to have these feelings anymore. Because it really, you know, if we're upset about it, imagine how God hurts when he sees his children hurting. And so as a church, we're just trying to be there as a community to not take sides on the issue, but to say, we're here for you, and let's have a dialogue so we don't have these situations happen again.
Thank you for joining us today, Mr. Weber. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
The Cardinals men's basketball team came off their winning streak and had a disastrous game last week. Evan Rory has more.
This past Thursday, our Andrews University men's basketball team went up against the Indiana University Kokomo team, which resulted into a 75-61 loss for us. And here to talk with us a little more today is assistant coach Junior Orlis. Junior, thank you for being with us today.
No problem.
Junior, we saw going into the first half that we were almost having a rhythm, that our team was starting to pick up speed, we were starting to get a momentum, but as we got into the second half, we noticed that that momentum was not with us anymore. Kind of tell us what happened which resulted into that loss for us.
To be honest, we came down, as you know, we came back, brought the lead back down to 2, and the Kokomo came back and hit a 3 on us. Our team, we're not working together very well, and I want to put the blame on the run on the coaches. We should have called a timeout and we should have slowed the pace down, but us trusting in our players, we wanted to see if they could handle the pressure to get a run of their own. As you know, the lead turned from 5 to 10 to 15 and eventually 20. Now, our players have a problem having confidence and keep playing the game, and if they don't keep doing that, then we will continue to have big losses like that.
So what do you mean about having confidence? Because last year you were on a team that had more confidence, I guess that results into a championship. But for this new team of young legs, I guess they're not really picking that up per se. So what do you think they really need to get that confidence that they actually need to win?
I mean, this year, as you know, it's a rebuilding year, bunch of new fresh legs, bunch of freshmen, sophomores coming together to play a game. Last year we had 4 returning seniors with their experience, and the level that they were playing at, they've already won 2 championships behind them, and they were ready to play. This year, we need to get this team here to get the confidence in their head, to get that pride that they need, to know that not only that they're playing for themselves, but they're also playing with that name Andrews across their chest. They need to have hustle. They need to have more heart. Okay, they need to stop running around just putting their heads down every time another team hits a shot. They need to just keep playing the game.
All right, Gia, thank you again for this. This is Evan Roy for AU News.
You can watch the game streamed live on youtube.com/weareausa.
In December 1922, Emmanuel Missionary College students were asked what they most wanted for Christmas. Some of the things they mentioned were a good old sleigh ride, a pair of swell skates with permission to use them as much as I choose, the biggest and best dinner of the year, a good rest, lots of sleep, and plenty to eat, a box of Martha Washingtons.
Now, more than 90 years later, we wanted to see how things have changed over the years. Listen up as you tell us what you want for Christmas this year.
What I want most for this Christmas?
Well, I would like to get a new cello for this Christmas.
New phone. I want to fix my laptop because it tragically fell off my top bunk at the beginning of the semester, so that'd be great. I don't really care about anything else.
A new bed. My old bed is not working, it's broken, so a new bed would be nice.
Yeah, I would like some sleep, that's all really. Just sleep. In the bed, sleep.
I want no more tests.
I need the Christmas break, that's all I need actually.
To snowboard.
What I want for Christmas is to be with family and go snowboarding.
I think I want the most to spend time with family because I really miss them.
Just my family.
I want to go home to see my family.
Well, I can't go home this winter break, so I want my family for my Christmas break. If they can come up and say hi, you know.
'Cause all I want for Christmas is you. Yeah.
So, Lucero, what is it that you want for Christmas?
I want a Polaroid camera because I really like photography and I like the old style that the Polaroid does. Cool. So, yeah, and I already got a new iPhone.
See,
so
that's
I don't
what I
need
want.
That. Yeah.
I want an iPhone 6 for Christmas.
You'll
I'm really
like
jealous
it,
of
yeah.
you.
Well, that's it for AU News, our last for the year. Thanks so much for watching.
From all of us from AU News, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays.
Gleila y'all.
Merry Christmas.
Feliz Navidad.
Merry Christmas.
Noel. Kuna Christmas Ijama. And a happy holiday. Okay.